All right, let me start with this. Okay, I'm starting this 100-day challenge, and you can follow me on Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels. You can follow me every day for 100 days. But let me tell you why I got involved with this challenge, and I find it necessary, right? So I'm going to break it down really, and then I'm going to go into a longer version of this. But basically, I started this because I like to shuffle things around. Maybe it's my short attention to a lot of items. I seem to pick things up and then get rid of them. Um, they don't last very long. I don't know if I get bored or if it's just not much of a challenge anymore. So I like to push myself. So let me start from the beginning. Not really beginning, but for the last couple of years. So 2 years ago, roughly, my parents passed away. Now my they were at a point where nobody in my siblings, we didn't feel comfortable with them living on their own. They've always had their own house. They took care of themselves, cook, clean, whatever. My mom was 94. My dad was 93. They were married for over 70 years. Um, and so we decided, hey, they need to be in a place where it's much smaller. They can be in constant supervision. Well, not constant, but if issue, because my dad was falling. My mom couldn't pick him up. My mom would fall. My dad couldn't pick her up. So it was just getting to be an issue. So we had sold all their items, sold their house, and we put them into a senior care place. It wasn't total care, but if they had an issue, there was somebody on in this building that was able to come within a few seconds. So it worked out well. Not that any other than my sister and my brother, my two other brothers lived nearby, closer than what I did. I was at least 20, 25 minutes away from them. So if there was an issue, it would take me much longer to get to them than my older brothers. But anyways, so they moved into this home, and it seemed like their health rapidly deteriorated within a 6 months period. And my mom was already having issues with one of her knees. She was having some heart issues. She was always overweight. Even at the time of her death, she was overweight. And so she went into the hospital. She was sick. She had flu-like symptoms. It was pretty bad, so they put her in there, and then obviously that set off a heart issue that she was having a problem with, and then within 24 hours of entering the hospital, she passed away. Now my dad was in the hospital also at the same time. He actually went in there 2 weeks earlier, and mom was going up there every day for a couple hours. It wasn't that far away from where the hospital was, on the same grounds as the senior care place. So it was only getting into a van and taking her to the hospital. But it was a lot for her to do it every day. She wanted to do it every day. And she might have caught a flu in the senior home or in the hospital, or just the wear and tear on her body did go up to the hospital. So she fell ill, went into the hospital. My dad was already suffering from dementia, and he caught COVID while he was in the hospital. Funny how that works, isn't it? And anyways, so my mom passed away, and within a few hours of my dad hearing that she passed away, he passed away. We had their funeral together, which was, kind of being married for over 70 years. It was kind of fitting. But anyways, the few times that I was with my dad, I'd race over there and pick him off the floor, and seeing how just the way he was, I told myself, you know what, I got to start doing something. I'm getting older. I don't want to have issues. And it's not the longevity that I'm looking for. It's just the quality until I pass away, right? That's all I was thinking. So after seeing him, it was kind of a motivation for me. And so I took it upon myself. I started the carnivore diet. I lost 46 pounds. I started lifting weights. I went to the gym. I still do 5-6 days a week. I was doing it 7 days a week. Now I'm between 5 and 6 days a week. You do what you can. You start watching what you're doing. The strength is a slow strength at my age. From but I push myself so I can gain more muscle. That's what the biggest thing. And there's different things that I try to do. So anyway, I'm working. I'm getting kind of. I look at so many things about diet, right? Over the years. I mean, it was 12, 15 years ago. I did the keto for a while when my son was sick. And I tried to get him to do it with me. And it was a point where I just kept it on after he passed away. But it didn't last long. I went back to my own ways, and then when this happened with my parents, I went to the keto, carnivore, and I'd seen a lot of things about it, and so I said, hey, I'm going to try that. But up to the last maybe 2 or 3 months, I heard a lot of people, well, I started doing some carbs. I watched a few characters that they were talking about eating honey and fruits and adding that to the meat diet or whatever. So I tried that and I started gaining weight back. I gained, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds. And I was concerned that this is not for me. And then I started hearing, this one gentleman, he was saying, well, too much carnivore can kill you and you get raised levels of LDL, which I already knew. Some say it's bad, some say, I don't know. I mean, I don't trust any doctors because they only have one semester in dietary studies, and they're just drug pushers as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of these doctors, they come out with the carnivore, they come out with, hey, you got to eat a well-balanced diet and all these other things, right? And I'm getting to the point where, okay, what is it? I mean, is everybody trying to push their own little niche that working for them, right? And I'm thinking, what's the best? Is it, because I know to build muscle, and you need a lot of protein, okay? And that depends on your weight. They say per kilogram, it's 1.2 to 1.6 per kilogram. And that doesn't seem like a lot to me, at my weight. So I'm looking to drop at least, I want to get back to, I want to lose more than I originally lost, the 46 pounds. I actually want to lose another 20. So it'd be like 65 pounds total since I started all this gibberish stuff. So I'm looking at getting to a point where I feel comfortable. I'm they say 5 to 10% of body fat. Now, that's a severe athletic body, right? I mean, you look at some of these guys, well, I do a lot of carbs. Well, and they look pretty fit. They're muscular. They don't look like they have much fat on them, but they're in extreme exercise. I don't care if they're 20 or 50. They're exercising severely to get to that point. And I wouldn't mind doing that, but it's just with all I got going on and trying to exercise hours a day, right? I mean, it's hard as you get older on your ligaments, on your joints, and all these other things. But the point is that I haven't gone back to eating all the vegetables. I haven't gone back to eating all the processed food. I don't eat all the garbage. I don't eat chips and whatever else is pies and cakes and candies, and I don't eat any of that. But going from true carnivore to mixing Greek yogurts and protein shakes and fruits and honey and that type of thing, I've gained weight. I mean, I can tell by just the way my clothes fit, and some fat around the face that I didn't have 6 months ago. So anyways, I just want to be more lean. I'm way I look at I'm way over my where I should be as far as weight goes, and I want to be more agile. I want to be able to be more fit. So this challenge that I'm doing is, um, it's, I mean, it's not a game changer at all. It's just changing. It's constantly. I find out if I constantly mix things up all the time and do different things, I can stay with a program, right? To stay within a, the body composition, right? So if I get bored, then we might slightly go off there. We might eat an apple and strawberry. Now I have a huge strawberry patch. I mean I collect hundreds of pounds of strawberries. Okay, same with blackberries. I have blackberries and there's a blueberry farm not from far from where I live, and I like those things, right? But they're not advantageous for me to eat on a constant basis because they say you need glucose to build the. Because also what was happening was I'm severely fatigued, right? I've been fatigued for God knows how long. When I started the carnivore, it seemed to minimize it, um, but it just seemed like I was getting fatigued. I was losing energy. That's why I started to move toward a little bit of the honey and the fruits because I wanted to get some more carbs, see if that would change my outlook on my energy level, right? I get fatigued. I get tired in the middle of the day. I'd wake up 3 hours later. I'd feel like I need a nap. I'd get a nap. 3 hours later, I'd feel like I need a nap. I'd eat something. Um, Basically, Greek yogurt. I make my own yogurt. Okay, so that to me is like my go-to break, switches. It's not really sweet or anything, but it gives me something different that I can look forward to every day to eat besides just eating the basic protein stuff. Now, I don't know how long that I'll stay full carnivore. I'm a huge gardener. Before I did the carnivore, I might start mixing broccoli and asparagus because I'm not a carnivore true and true. A lot of these guys you see is like, oh, you had a banana, then you're not a carnivore, and so I'm not a carnivore, all right. But I tend to follow that program, so I might mix it up after I do this challenge. Now, soon as I get rid of some of my food in the fridge that I don't want to throw away because I'm trying something different, I am gonna start eating solely sardines and see what date I decide to puke the things out. So it's going to be straight sardines. I'm thinking at least 7 days, maybe 15 days at the most. But I'm not going to just eat sardines out of the cans. I'm going to mix some mustard with it or some hot sauce just to break it up from just eating sardines. I don't mind sardines, okay? I usually, if I mix sardines, I'll usually mix it with some some mayonnaise, some homemade mayonnaise, and it gives that different flavor. And I'll mix some salmon with it. And I make these carnivore buns that are great. So it gives me that sandwich feel to it. But so I'm going to see how that works. So I'm not going to do it like this challenge at the same time, but I will. As soon as I get these things from Thanksgiving dinner, that's another thing. From, I get rid of the turkey and all that type of thing. I am going to do the sardines, okay? And I'll be posting that when that's on that day of when I decide to do that. But it seems like I always do these challenges right around the holidays. I don't know why. Maybe I want to get a jump out of the first of the year where everybody, goes on these quick mass diets that only last a week or whatever. But I'm not a real big. I mean, I can eat something that I'm not supposed to eat, and then go back next day, go back to what I normally do. So it's not really a cheat day, but it's maybe a cheat meal. But I still don't eat garbage. I'm not eating processed foods and none of that stuff. It's just it might be a family gathering, and there might be something in there that I don't normally eat. sometimes if I eat something I shouldn't eat, um, man, I tell you what, I get headaches. I just feel lousy. I just feel like somebody just beat the crap out of me. But so that's where I'm starting. And you follow along every day, subscribe. It's going to be tough trying to make a video out every day for 100 days. But hey, I'm willing for the challenge. Now, the biggest thing I'm doing this for is, yeah, if I just give some people some investment in maybe their own health, that's great. But I want to be accountable to say, hey, I'm doing this every day, and to myself, and making other people make me feel accountable. Say I can't let somebody down, or I can't do this, and quit. Right. So, anyways, that's the video for today, and I will talk to you, and you'll see another video soon. Have a great day.